वैष्णव जन तो तेरे कहिए जे पीड़ पराए जाने रे.
If we have to progress, if we have to move forward, good governance is a must. So it is an issue of relevance to the foundation and to similar organizations. Also, civil society should articulate and stand up and be counted in defense of values that are important to all of us and to our society. This is, I admit, a slippery and a controversial subject, but I believe after 54 years of independence that we have been poorly governed. It could have been worse, but that is no consolation. That is one of the problems in India. It could have been worse, but others are doing worse than us. Fine, we note that it could have been worse, but that is no consolation. The question is, it could have been so much better if we were properly governed. On whatever dimension we assess our performance as a nation, per capita income, per capita expenditure on any item, per capita consumption of power, female literacy, infant mortality, existence of infrastructure, social, that is educational, health, or physical infrastructure, ports, telecommunications, etc., employment. The results of 54 years fall woefully short of what was, is, and continues to remain India's potential.
शिशिर सन्याल के लिए भारतीय वायुसेना के अधिकारी पद से त्यागपत्र देकर भूदान आंदोलन में सम्मिलित होने की घड़ी सबसे हर्ष की घड़ी थी. 100 गांव तक फैल गया. प्रत्येक गांव में ग्रामवासियों की पहल से और उसके परिणाम स्वरूप सच्ची गांधीवादी परंपरा के अनुरूप सामूहिक संपत्ति का निर्माण किया गया. कई लाख रुपए की इस संपत्ति के प्रशासन और रखरखाव के लिए हर गांव में लोक समितियां बनाई गई. गांव से बाहर जाने वाले लोगों की कमी करने के लिए, लोगों के जीवन स्तर में जो सुधार लाने के लिए, ग्रामीण रोजगार में आई तीव्रता और स्थानिक विवादों और झगड़ों का सौहार्दपूर्ण निपटारा इनके स्वाभाविक परिणाम तो थे ही, गांधीवादी रचनात्मक कार्य के सार तत्व का विशुद्ध रूप भी थे.
Every village is a republic with legislative, executive and judiciary combined. That was the philosophy, that was the mission for which we was working. And we could not, after 2 decades of war, we could not shun it and go back. So he wanted to see why Gandhi said this. If it is utopia, he was an idealist and he said, I am a practical idealist. And Gandhi would never lie for whatever achievement he wants to get. That inspires us to go through Gandhi and Vinoba's literature for 2 long years, 68 to 72. And we have identified some cardinal principles based on a set of values which could be implemented in the villages. And the core concept is that everybody should understand, practically understand, that his good is in the good of the community.
He gave up a very lucrative career in the United States to return back to India and work amongst the poor and those in the rural areas of India. Dr. Rajvanshi has used the internet very widely and has developed and patented many processes. The chief amongst them is the use of NARI, which is a stove which can run on kerosene, ethanol, anything that burns, any liquid that burns. It has been exported also to the United States to take care of some of the blackouts in the state of California. So here we have a person who has essentially, shall I say, an Indian engineer who has been able to export his knowledge and his know-how all over the world.
Jamnalal Bajaj was a very close associate of Gandhiji. To my mind, Gandhiji's ideas are more relevant today than ever before, especially his philosophy of self-reliance and decentralization. I think a lifestyle based on maxim of simple living and high thinking is a possible choice. Thus, our ancient philosophical thought should be used to temper our greed for resources and energy. Gandhiji showed us a way where, in this model, with his minimum energy that he used to use, he created one of the highest quality of life, highest quality of thought. Hallmark of evolution of a system is its size reduction, increase in energy usage efficiency, increase in complexity, and its equilibrium with the surroundings. All these lead to sustainable systems. Societies evolve depending upon the quality and quantity of energy passing through them. Sustainability demands that future sources of energy should be in distributed form. Following this approach, we can think that the future of all societies will be decentralized, high technology dependent, and rural based. India is already a decentralized and rural based society. Rather than going the way of a megacity based development model, it is better to arrest this trend by introducing high technology systems in rural areas and make them sustainable.
Srimati Fazelbhoy belongs to that microscopic minority of individuals who, in spite of being handicapped themselves, are fired with determination and fortitude to work with dedication for the benefit of other handicapped people and leave a lasting impact on the community as a whole. Rejected for the post of a telephone operator because she had only 15% of normal vision due to albinism, she went on undeterred to be the first lady student from India to acquire a diploma through the Royal National Institute for the Blind in London for training blind children. Since then, her life has become a saga for the enrichment and the enlightenment of the blind. She conducted a successful experiment in integrated education, that is, teaching blind children at regular schools along with sighted children. This has now become an all India policy, recognized and supported by the central and the state governments. Over 15,000 blind children are being educated each year in India through this program in 17 states, both in the rural and the urban areas, including over 5,000 villages.
Apart from Rajendra Singh, there are so many young boys and girls in Maharashtra and in Gujarat. In fact, throughout the country, if I may say so, because I have organized several competitions of braille reading and writing, of essay writing and elocution, which have brought me in touch with our disabled children all over our country. And they call me mother. And I said, yes, but if I were to collect all you children together, I don't know how many halls I'd have to fill up. But indeed, it is very, very satisfying and very gratifying to me. And my deep, deep gratitude goes to Henley Motors, because had they accepted me as a telephone operator, maybe that's all I'd have been able to do. And exactly opposite the Henley Motors is the Royal National Institute for the Blind, the RNIB, in England, where when they refused me, when Henley Motors said nothing doing, I walked straight across the road to the Royal National Institute for the Blind, saying, if their boss thinks I'm blind, I'll go and work for the blind and show him what I can do.
The life of Dr. Satish Kumar is an outstanding example of the transformation of a Jain monk into a dedicated, constructive worker of the Gandhian tradition, as a result of the inspiration he obtained from Gandhiji's experiments with truth. Inspired with the example of the great British philosopher Bertrand Russell, who was arrested and put in jail because he was protesting against nuclear weapons. Satish set off on a pilgrimage of peace on foot without any money from the Gandhi Samadhi in Rajghat, New Delhi in 1962 to walk to Moscow, Paris, London and Washington, the four major nuclear capitals, to protest against the bomb and to campaign for disarmament. During the course of this remarkable pilgrimage of 8,000 miles, he met ordinary people and also world leaders like Bertrand Russell and Martin Luther King. The response accorded to him was overwhelming.
At this moment, I feel that perhaps the message of Mahatma Gandhi, particularly the message of non-violence, is more relevant now than ever before, particularly since September 11. With this event, I feel that we need to choose an alternative. And that alternative is a new, non-violent world order. Ultimate security is peace. There is no other security than a peaceful, non-violent world. And therefore, United Nations should establish not just Security Council, but also a Peace Council.
The memory of that saga of India's struggle for freedom, and the memory of India's proclamation to the world that this is a new path to revolution. We are very happy to be here because these awards do seek to remind us that once upon a time, not so long ago, there were men like Mahatma Gandhi and Jamnalal Bajaj in our midst in this country. That not so long ago, we have had men like Kamal Nayanji and Ramakrishnaji, who carried on the torch that was handed over to them. But in a real sense, we must understand the meaning of these awards. These awards fulfill not only the function of memory, but of recognition. The most important function that they perform is to recognize accomplishment and achievement.
Ladies and gentlemen, true to the Gandhian ideals, which were so dear to the heart of Shri Jamnalal Bajaj, this foundation has done commendable work in the vital area of rural development. Despite significant industrialization, even today, the proportion of our people dependent on agriculture has declined only marginally since independence. At the same time, the share of agriculture in our national income has declined drastically from 50% at the time of independence to less than 25% now. As a result, the gap in per capita incomes and living standards between rural India and urban India has greatly widened, giving rise to increasing social tensions as well as violence in many parts of our country.
Gandhiji had recognized that winning independence was not sufficient. It had to be backed by social harmony, constructive work, and rural development. Else the freedom would be hollow, he said. 54 years of political independence has still not given us the economic and moral independence or the stature that should rightfully return to India. This is what we have been hearing from our distinguished speakers. I believe that we are all interconnected. Actions are shaped by and affect all other people. Our responsibility extends beyond our immediate lives and families to the entire human race. Issues of hunger and poverty are not problems of one state or one country, but are global issues, and we must solve them as global citizens. This is the message we take home from our honorable guests, from the awardees and other speakers.